When it comes to handing out cash, is the intent as wholesome as we are led to believe if the act is being filmed? That's the thing here. Is there such a thing as a selfless act at all, Kelly? I don't know. But the idea that, of course, maybe the initial idea behind all of this was goodness. Yeah. But ultimately, a lot of these, there's like 38.6 million views of some of these clips.
On social media.
On social media,
yeah.
Which, as we all know, starts to funnel in money. And then you start to kind of maybe question why it's all happening in the first place. But what do you think, Kelly?
Well, I do think, like, I love genuine kindness and the acts of goodness for people. And, you know, when you see some of those faces and how much that means, I think is really empowering. And I do feel that in this world we do need to be a little bit kinder, to be honest. I suppose the challenge is how it's done. Because what we're seeing is filming, and sometimes from a distance. So those people might not necessarily know they've been filmed, yet they're being exposed on social media. So for me, I have a conflict of that. So I'm thinking, if you're doing something nice, do it. You don't need to have that recognition, which a lot of people, we all do things that we don't talk about. And then you've got those people that kind of are doing it for their own gain later on. So it's that conflict, because I do believe in charitable goods. I love the fact if you're helping somebody and it's making such a difference to their lives. You know, we never know who we meet each day who's struggling, and sometimes just saying, please, thank you, giving them something if they're struggling, like a till to pay, I think is important. But you see, it's that social media bit that I'm not sure about.
No, I agree. But somehow or other, if you think it back, I think that, depending on our upbringing, that we're taught gentle acts of kindness, for example. And I look at the supermarket every weekend, I see many acts of kindness, people putting food in for a charity and all that sort of stuff. So that's an act of kindness every single day. What I personally don't like are the big hitters who've got millions and millions, squillions probably, who maybe will do a lot of good over here by giving £2 million to a hospital or a hospice or something. Now, they do gain from it. But I don't like it when the person has endless photographs taken about, look what I have done. I think if you're going to do big gestures like that, that it should be done quietly. I would appreciate it more. But I did see one small act of kindness which always stuck with me. I was in a queue to pay for petrol, and so I was the third person. And the lady at the front discovered that she had no money. And the man in between her and me said, do you know what? I'll pay for it, because he knew that she was embarrassed. And he took his credit card and he paid for her petrol, £56 or something. And I thought, good on you. That was a real act of kindness. I like that.
It's a bit, as you say, though, Kelly, a lot of this is being filmed with a lot of people not realising potentially that it's being filmed. And because it's social media, you don't really have a say. You know, you can't say, I don't want that put on. It's sort of, we've gone beyond that. We can't broadcast it, but in social media, obviously, you can sort of do what you want. But there are various things on TikTok now where I could go to you and say, I'm going to give you £500, but if you don't take it, I'll give that person £1,000. So you could be the person, you're being filmed, and you go, I could really do with £500, but I'm going to look awful if I take it, and that person doesn't get any money.
But then, what I could do if I was in your position, I could turn to the person behind me and say, look, you take the £1,000, but we'll share it. We'll have 500 each.
Yeah, that's true.
That person could easily go, I don't want to.
There was one I saw, actually, which I did really love. It was a guy, I think he was holding up a board, and it had something saying that he had a mental health problem, please talk to me. And it was filmed, and there was people walking past, and then somebody stopped and had a chat, and this guy was sort of crying, and it's obviously set up. But for me, the act of kindness is the person that then spoke to the person with the board who's struggling. So for me, that's important, and he got rewarded for it. So I think it is like how it's done. I think it's a new craze. You're giving something to people that maybe really need it, so I love that anyway. So it's just the question mark over the social media exposure and exploitation of it, isn't it? And whether they have a right to do that. But then, you know, you're giving something to somebody that hasn't got it. I mean, look at the faces.
I'll tell you what, when Michael Ball and Alfie Bowe come on, we'll hug them to death, will we? And then that will be our act of kindness for today. What do you think? What do you think?
That's it. That's true.
They'll be happy with that.
I did do something once for gain. So I was young, and when it was really snowing and everything, I went out, and I live in a council estate, and there was these old people's flats in front of me, and they couldn't get out. So I'm thinking, oh my God, poor, bless them, they can't get out. So I got out with a shovel, and I got all the other kids, they all gave up, you know. So I'm like out in a shovel, like literally shoveling everything. And then I thought, well, I still can't get out, going to the shop. So I'm being a fitness freak, said, I'll go shopping for you. Ran up and down, got their shopping, and then they started dropping 50p's and chocolate out the window.
Your reward.
I'll do this again.
It started as a selfless act, but you got a lovely reward. Everyone's a winner.